So is like a peachy brown, really. Nina, Camita, go! So the shade I always use in my crease is kind of like it's called soft brown, which is a really light peachy skin tone kind of color. And that's the color I like to use to diffuse everything together. The only way to make everything super blended is using this kind of shadow. I'm gonna show you what I mean. So with a really fluffy brush, I'm gonna dip into it. And I'm just gonna buff up. So we're gonna prime. I use MAC Painterly Paint Pot. This is a cream eyeshadow. It's not an eyeshadow primer, but it's a long wear cream eyeshadow. This also helps for the eyeshadow to really show up true to color. But sometimes when you apply an eyeshadow without anything as a base, it doesn't show up how it's supposed to. I'm not gonna lie, it's taken me forever to do another YouTube tutorial. Not because I don't like doing makeup or I've gotten over it or anything, but it is extremely weird to talk to yourself to a camera. And I see other girls, like other YouTubers that are very popular, and they do this like if they're talking to your friends, but like I really can't get used to it. I feel like, I don't know, maybe I have to do more videos and see how that goes. Now the next step I take is I grab any like setting brush and I grab a powder, and with this I'm going to set the cream eyeshadow that I just did. If I don't do this, it's gonna crease and get all oily on my eyelid. Now we're gonna go and do what I said we were gonna do. We're gonna take soft brown from MAC, and this is gonna be our transition color. This color, I'm just gonna buff it in back and forth in the transition, in my crease. I don't like to stop right where the eye is at, because then it's just gonna be super harsh. So I kind of like allow the brush to go a little further out, so that way it really blends really smoothly out. I always start in the outer corner, because the first spot where you land the eyeshadow is what's gonna have the most pigment. And if you put it right in the middle, that's where you're gonna have the most color, and it's gonna look kind of funny. Next, we're gonna take a smaller fluffy brush. This is MAC 217. And we're gonna take MAC Brown Script. I'm just gonna stay back here. We don't wanna bring it in all the way, because I don't want a smoky eye all the way in here. I want my smoky eye to be more in the outer corner, and that way is how I'm gonna get like the really winged out effect. If you hear little on the wood floor, it's my dogs, because they don't want to stay still. So I dab it first to give the most pigment, and then after I'm gonna blend and circle it around. Remember, I like to buff it out a little further out, just so it's not super harsh, and the color can like look like it's exploding, you know what I mean? So now we're gonna do the same to the other eye. We're gonna tap, tap, tap. Okay, now that we have that, we're gonna deepen up a little bit more the outer corner. And the color I like to use is from the Modern Renaissance palette from Anastasia. It's Antique Bronze. It's kind of like a shimmery brown with like copper reflex. It's really pretty. And this I'm gonna keep right here in the outer corner. Kind of like lay it on top of brown script, but don't cover it up completely. Stay closer to the lash line. And we're just gonna build it up until we feel like it's dark enough to go in with the next shade. Now we're gonna use Cyrus Umber from the same Modern Renaissance palette. And this one we're gonna buff right here in the lash line, outer corner. I don't stay right where the lash line ends, I go a little further out to wing it out. You don't get the same effect with just one shadow. At least I don't feel like. There's people that can do eye looks just using two colors and they just blend the same color over and over again on top, and it looks great. But I work differently. I feel like the more colors, the more textures I add on top of each other, it's how I get my look. Now for the crease, I don't know if to use like a gold, I don't know. Or should I go with a green? We're gonna cut the crease, which means that we're gonna apply the same eyeshadow base again over the lid to clean it all up and make it look nice and fresh. And on top of it, we're gonna add the shadow, the gold shadow. With a flat brush, the same cream eyeshadow, we're gonna cut the crease. I don't know if you can tell, but right here, where the dark brown is and the shimmer, I feel like I need to blend it a little bit more to really make it like a nice smooth transition. We're gonna grab that same antique bronze from the Modern Renaissance palette, which is the shimmery brown with like a little bit of copper in it. We're gonna tap it in between those two shades to get it a little more diffused, is what I'm trying to say. So you don't see like a sharp line of the shimmer and a sharp line of the brown. Kind of just meshes together. Next is the eyeliner. My favorite eyeliner to use is a gel liner. I don't like, not that I don't like, but I always go for gel liners. So I'm using a thin liner brush. You can use an angled brush if you'd like. I use both. It just depends on what mood I'm in that day. If you guys want a real in-depth tutorial on how to do a wing liner, let me know. If you do, if you don't, it's cool. And I'm not an expert. I still mess up just like everybody. One wing down. We're going for the other one. Oh, this is a must for me, a must. When I have my super dark smoky eye and I see a little piece of the inner part of your skin, like the waterline in the inside, that is the ugliest thing that I can ever see in a makeup. What I like to do, it's like the most annoying part, but I, with the same liner and an angled brush, I tight line top and bottom. And we're gonna do the same thing to the bottom. My next step for this look is I grab black eyeshadow and a thin definer brush like this. Is a MAC one. I dip into my black. This is the Tarte, the first Tarte palette, the purple one. I stamp on with this brush the black eyeshadow. This is gonna set the cream eyeliner that we applied, and it's gonna make it look like an intense black. You're gonna smoke, you're gonna wiggle it back and forth and kind of bring it up a little bit. It's time to wipe. My favorite wipes to use are the Neutrogena. I have the purple pack. A lot of people don't like them because they have like an oily residue, but I feel like it's what wipes the best. If not, if it doesn't have the oily residue like that, it's not gonna wipe, and I feel like the wipes are really rough. You don't wanna be rough on your eyes. Primer I'm using is the Hangover RX Replenishing Face Primer. I like this. It feels really moisturizing, really healthy for the skin. And I do feel like it makes my makeup last longer. So you're gonna get a few pumps of that. And you're just gonna add it to your skin. My skin has been acting out like crazy this week. I suffer from rosacea, so my cheeks, it's mostly my cheeks, not really anything else. My cheeks, the texture and the redness is out of control. I really don't know why, because I take care of my skin like crazy. I wash every morning and night. I moisturizer. I use moisturizer. I use sunscreen. I don't really wear makeup during the week, so I don't feel like it should be acting this way that she's mad at me. So for foundation, we're going to use the Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation from NARS. I love this foundation. It may be a little bit too dark for my face and you're going to see a difference, but it matches the rest of my body. Just because I use sunscreen every single day, my face is way lighter than the rest of me. And with my Morphe sponge, we're going to apply. You can use a brush if you want to use a brush. I just feel like with a sponge, it really lets it sink into your skin and really get in there and make it really smooth. That was a lot of reallies in one sentence. Your sponge is wet. A lot of people, I didn't think that, a lot of people knew, but a lot of people don't know is that you need to wet your sponge before you use it. So I did do my eyebrows first. That is the first step I do in every makeup, even if it's on clients or whoever. A lot of people don't like it just because they think, I remember I saw a video of Manny MUA and he says that he has to do it after his foundation because this is annoying, having to go around his brow, and how do you do it without messing up? I don't know. I guess you just learn how to do it and you get used to it. Next is concealer. I do a mix of two. I like to cover up darkness and any little veins with my NARS Naked Skin Concealer. It's really lightweight and it covers well and it's hydrating. So we're gonna take that. See, I'm dark right here. And on top of that, to really brighten, this is one of my favorite concealers. I feel like for my under eye, it's what works the best. I do these two, this combo, and it works out for me. See that? It's like a little triangle, and it's gonna give a really nice lifted appearance. I'm gonna do my chin, cupid's bow, in between my eyebrows. I don't really like to highlight my forehead just because I feel like I have a larger forehead. And I contour it, so if I highlight, it's just gonna emphasize what I don't want to emphasize. So I highlight right here in between and a little bit out. But that's pretty much all I highlight on my forehead. After that, I'm gonna take my sponge and I'm just gonna blend out my under eye. And this is gonna ensure that everything in the under eye is nicely smooth. And it picks up any excess any excess concealer or product that I might have. We're gonna use my trusty Laura Mercier powder, whatever it's called. And I'm gonna do a trick that I saw Desi Perkins, that she learned from Makeup by Ariel. And she says that when she sets, she grabs the powder, because I feel like it's happened to me too. When you set with your sponge, it's like kind of chunky. So you kind of just buff it on your hand. Take it on your hand like that. And then you apply it under the eye. I'm gonna do the under eye eyeshadow. We're gonna grab some brown eyeshadow, tap off the excess, tap so that you don't get any eyeshadow fallout. And we're gonna go really close to the lash line and just stamp it on. Now to buff that out, what I'm gonna use is a pencil brush. And the shadow that I like to use, that I feel like it gives a really nice touch, is Antique Bronze from the Modern Renaissance. The same colors we have been using. But it has a shimmer to it, so it looks really pretty under the eye. And we're gonna buff it out with that. We're gonna highlight the inner corner. With the same brush, we're gonna take Fenty Beauty highlight in Hustler Baby, which I love, as you can tell. Same brush, we're gonna wet it so that it looks really nice and bright. I know it kind of went to the bottom too, but we'll blend that out now. And we're gonna highlight right under the brow. So to contour and bronze together is what I do. I don't really contour like with one thing. I'm using a Smashbox step-by-step contour palette. I grabbed the middle shade just because I feel like that one's a little too gray. If you want, you can add both. I'm gonna add both so you can see how it looks. And we're gonna bronze. Start from the back of the ear and bring it up. And I'm gonna do this cute face. And we're gonna get the forehead stitch. For my nose contour, I don't do anything intense. The same shadow, the middle one, same shadow, the same bronzer from the Smashbox. And I come in from right here, you know, the brow crease area. And I just buff some shadow here. And I just, on each side of the nose, I don't really care for a heavy contour on the nose. Am I the only one that when you put makeup on, your nose wants to run? Like, it's so annoying. So with a MAC powder, this is NC30 Fix, what is it called? Studio Fix Powder NC30, and a domed brush. I'm gonna really brighten under my eye. And I'm gonna take it to the sides of my nose. And that's really gonna brighten and clean up that nose contour. We're gonna cut it. This is gonna help it clean it up if you want too low or anything, and it's gonna brighten down here. Also, what I like to do is with the same powder right here, the sides of my nose. While that sets, and you have to leave it for a little bit, just so that it can really grab onto the skin. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna apply my blush. My favorite is Luminoso by Milani. I feel like it's the nicest blush ever, and it gives you a really pretty glow. It's not like extremely glowy, but it gives a nice sheen to the skin. So with a fluffy brush, we're just gonna circle it. I put a little bit on the apple, and I bring it back. Don't mind the texture of my cheeks. I already told you my condition. I do have lash extensions, but they're in a bad place right now, so we're gonna add lashes on top today. Even though you shouldn't, but I'm going to. And we're gonna add mascara to the bottom. If your eye cries a lot or you don't want to worry about transferring mascara, wear waterproof in the bottom. You gotta make sure you really buff everything away. You don't want a white cast in pictures, which I have seen a lot of times on girls. So the first thing I do, I have a lot of powder on my skin. This is going to be your best friend. This is MAC Fix Plus. It is not in any way a setting spray. It's not going to make your makeup last longer or anything like that. What this does is going to hydrate your skin, and it's going to make all the powders melt. But when you go outside and you look at yourself and you're like, oh my god, I have like so much makeup on, I have so much powder. No, this is going to make it look like skin again. It's the best powder ever. The best spray ever. Powder. What am I talking about? So test drive. Perfect. We're gonna add highlight now, but I don't like to add it when it's super wet because I feel like it'll lift my foundation. So we gotta wait before it dries, and right before it all dries, you add your highlight. Let's do the highlight. So with a fluffy brush like this and the Fenty Beauty highlight. Ooh, my shirt. I talked so much about this mascara, and I'm doing this to me. Wow. What the hell? This has never happened. Take two. Girl. Don't play me. I look extremely wet. After like 5,000 meltdowns and paparegas, I got my lashes on. So we're gonna do lips. I'm gonna wipe off the lip balm that I have on now so I can put a little bit of foundation over my lips. And with the same sponge. I like to have a clean canvas when I do my lips, so that's why I like to add foundation over. We're going to use Kylie Cosmetics Hazel Lip Liner. I love this color. I like to overline a little bit the bottom and the top, so I go a little further down here, but the rest of my lip is exactly the same. After we apply the lip liner, we're going to go over with the liquid lipstick. This is a matte liquid lip, but we are going to throw on a gloss on top of this, just because I want a really nice glossy lip. Do I want a gloss? Yeah, I do. I do. This is the new gloss that I got from Dose of Colors. It's a really friggin' glittery, but it's very pretty. So pretty. And that is our finished look. I hope you guys liked it and you learned something. If you did, let me know. Write it in the comments, just because you'll make me feel a little bit better about this super awkward tutorial. I feel like I have to get used to it before I don't get so awkward and I can really be myself. But yeah, let me know if you learned something. You can let me know if you want me to do a specific video that you want to learn how to do, just like the wing liner that I was talking about. I don't know, that's pretty much it. Like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you the next time I do a video. Bye. I feel like I need music for this modeling section. Hey.